and start looking at this information is nigh on impossible. So if we actually start to filter, you've got, again, drop-downs you could look at by year, etc. But I've taken that filter and I've got all that information that's come back. Lots of lovely boxes. I want to restrict my information maybe to quotable or declines. And I'm pulling that information back. It's telling me I've got that number of records to have a look at. If I want to drill down on a particular piece of information, maybe I've got that amber one that's worrying me, I can drill down on that information and it will tell me what I've got. Click back out of it, maybe I want another record that I want to look at and pull that information back instantaneously. There are different ways that I could actually look at that. I could actually structure it in a table form. Declines versus quotes isn't exactly that informative, but maybe if I look at it by broker, it will tell me quite a bit of information. Apologies to the Aon people who are sitting on my table. This is not live data. But I can see that Marsh, please there aren't any from Marsh in here today, are there? But I've got a couple of red statuses, so maybe I actually want to have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So I've clicked the others away, so now I've only got the broker to do with Marsh, and I can see that I've got my red again, and I can drill in. But perhaps I'm a bit concerned. I've got an amber there. Maybe I want to start changing my red, amber, green, my RAG status. So I can select the KPIs. I'm basing it on total gross premium. If I just adjust it slightly with a simple drag of the mouse, refilter, then it'll run that again and automatically. I've now seen that there's some other business that was green before has now started to change its status. And once again, I can drill into that information to have a look at it. Okay, so hopefully you can see, even in the hands of someone like me, it's something that's fairly straightforward and easy to use. So that's all web-based, it's all web-enabled, and again, accessible to those people who have access to the system, having had that published from the author. What I'm going to do now is just switch across. This is Rulebook authoring. This is actually a desktop version. But as I suggested earlier, there's a kind of a light version to it, which is the maintenance, which is web-based. So again, at the risk of perhaps going a little bit too technical for certain people, where you actually host this and where you store this information is entirely up to you. So it could be that you deal with it completely on your own infrastructure. It could be that you hand it out to some other data center to manage that for you. Or even potentially you could push it out onto the cloud if you were happy and comfortable with the security of data, which, believe me, that's all perfectly possible and perfectly feasible. So it's giving me a list of libraries. I've got full access now. I'm God. I can do anything now to this system if I want to, if I've got the relevant access. So I'm going to go and have a look at my quoting information. It's very much a Windows 8 interface look and feel is what we've tried to build here to keep it modern. I can drill down into the products that I've got. So these are the ones that you might have seen on that list earlier. And for directors and officers, I was looking at that one. So I can drill down onto that. And I can have a look at the product definitions. There's only one, so I pull that information back. And all of a sudden, we've now got down to the level where I can actually start doing, if you like, some real work. So I'm looking at folders, rule sets, forms, and the documents. So firstly, I just want to give you a quick look over the form. If I open that up, there's the form that you saw in that product in the demo on the quote facility. Here's the ability to add on the extra tab, and as I just sort of scroll down all of these different sections with the red bordering showing as the fact that that's a mandatory field. It's fully audited. I can select something, but I can't really change it. However, if I check it out, the system then knows it's me who's authoring. So all my changes from now on will be logged against me, will be timed against me. So if anybody thinks that something's gone wrong or wants to talk to me about what I did, then they can have seen that from the system. But quite simply, I can look at the types here. I want to put a label in there. I want to give that label a name. I'm going to call it region. Send that away. I'm then actually going to enter the field itself. So I want that to be a text field. Again, I'm going to pull out my properties. I'll give it the name region, but I'm then going to actually attach it. And again, apologies for going a little bit too technical. I won't labour the point, but I wanted to actually just show you the definition of all the data is sitting there in a data dictionary, full data dictionary that's sitting underneath. I'm going to select region. I'm going to OK that. So that now, that particular field, it's called region, I've bound it to that data so that when I actually save it and then publish it, that will appear on my quote facility for everybody else to pick up straight away, and it will automatically pull that region information back. No, I'm not going to show you the XML stuff. So, that was the form. From the point of view of the rule sets, so this is where you actually now start to build your algorithms. You know your business process. You're going to be able to build this. And it gives you a graphical interface as a means of doing this. So if I start to drill down, you can see that what I'm actually producing. Sorry, I'm actually having this up on the screen a little bit more for you. Is that okay for people to see that reasonably? I've got this little pop-up window at the bottom here so I can actually move my way around it. I can, again, open up that information. And if I want to add information on it, I can do it in a similar fashion. Oh, I need to, I can explore the information I'm looking at. If I check it out, then I can start to go into a design mode. Same information that's available. I want to add information onto there. What do I want to do? I want to add on, so I'm going down to the bottom. If I get down here, do it properly, John. If I add the information, I've got a whole selection of functionality available in the system that I can use. I can add the information on there and I can start typing away on my properties box to start putting that information in there. I really don't want to go into too much detail other than the fact I wanted to show you that there's this graphical interface and it is as simple as a right click, select your function, add it in. There is a course that goes with this to enable you to learn how to do this, but there's only going to be a few users who would actually look at this information. But again, it's a non-technical user, and honestly, despite the fact that I'm actually sitting here and presenting to you today, I am non-technical as they get in an IT consulting sphere. I promise you. Some of my colleagues to my left would probably nod at that point. And similarly, from the document point of view, there's your document that you created. You're into the document, you can start editing it and creating your own merged document. Leave that one at that point. Okay, now the last thing I want to actually show you just in terms of the demonstration itself is this test facility. Now, having authored all of the rules, having got control over it and having validated it, I'd imagine that before you actually pushed it out to the wide world, you'd actually want to understand whether or not it's really accurate. So you can actually create a series of tests. Now what this is doing is providing you with some tests here that you can run. Now what it's actually trying to do at this stage is to say, okay, so I'm going to check through, I'm going to compile my code that I've built, compile the rules, and then it's going to go and find some information. And we've done a test simulation, and it's going to find some information that I've got on the system. It's got about 40 different records, and it's going to start running through them. So at the moment, it's got an error. So I don't know what's actually going on there. Right. That's what you really don't want, isn't it? I'll just try it once more, but imagine I'm not going to get anywhere. Right, okay, I do apologise for that. That's unfortunately a live demo. First time it's happened in the whole, probably for 2 days preparing for this. What you would have actually seen is that the list of records would have come through, and it's probably, you can set any numbers you actually want, but the records would actually load through the system, tell you whether it's successful or not, and you can then view the information in an Excel output, so you can actually see the output already. So in terms of sort of 30, 40 records loading through in 20 seconds, you might have seen an anomaly, and then you would have used that graphical interface, very much like I showed you with the actual authoring rule set build, that you could then drill down through the information with the data that you'd actually got, and actually see where the problem had occurred and deal with it there and then. So it's fully interactive, and unfortunately it didn't work with the setup I've actually got there today, so apologies for that. Okay, so it's a bit of a rush through on the demonstration there, but I'm hoping that I'm actually giving you a feel for what that looks like. I'll just let this one on my right refresh. It just seems to hang back a little bit. So finally, what we've actually got then is, having shown you the information it's providing you, I'm not sure if everybody can actually see what's on the screens there, but we've got more informed information for underwriting decisions. So there's the ability to create and maintain products, manage your own pricing models, and it's giving the power back to the actuaries and the underwriters to react to market conditions. So hopefully we've done that. Pricing accuracy, it would, if I could have proved you to that, to show you that stress test. So my embarrassment on that, and apologies again, but the stress testing of the new products, it means that you can test it with individual records or in bulk, and you can do it at the click of a button to actually say, I'll make a change to a rule, and I'll test it straight away, see if it looks like it's what it should be before I publish it out. So that would be a tick. Greater access to business channels by providing it through a web interface. It then allows us to distribute that information out to our underwriters, to our brokers, to cover holders, to any agents that we actually want to actually transact that business on our behalf. Improving underwriting efficiency, so if you can integrate that with your policy admin system, this is all built with web services, so it provides or can be loaded with seamless integration into your existing policy admin systems. But also if you integrate it with your management information solutions, you've then got information that can be fed back. If you remember that diagram where I pulled the data back through into authoring, you can pull information there to say, okay, so that's the type of business I'm transacting now. How can I actually refine my pricing and rating accordingly? And then finally, you've got the managing of underwriting risk. So it's got the full tracking, you've got that notes facility, you've got the audit control. So you can manage the changes within your pricing models. You can create documentation to show your users so that if they get referrals or get certain points come up, then that information will support their quoting process. But importantly, you've got full auditability of any changes and full control because it's all contained within one solution, which is good for compliance and regulatory requirements. So that was the rush through. I think we managed to do that reasonably quickly.